are world over in the different parts, in the different time zones, in the different continents. We extend you a very warm welcome. We extend you a very hearty welcome. And ladies and gentlemen, today is a very, very important day because right from the day this lockdown, this coronavirus, and this psychosomatic and so many problems for the entire world, and particularly for our children, for our teachers, for our education fraternity. Oh my God, people having so many difficulties. So, well, today is the World Mental Health Day. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we extend you a very hearty welcome. It's a pleasure to have all of you, and it's a pleasure to have Namo Gange and our distinguished guest of the evening, Dr. Parnika. I won't call her a Sharma, otherwise people will feel she is my relative. I don't want to put Sharma. So I would call Dr. Parnika. She is a counseling psychologist, life skill trainer, co-founder, Prodigy People, and we extend her a very warm welcome. So in a while we will start before that because every day we have got new people joining us from the world over, from different languages, from different countries. So I'll try and go slow, but try and show you the visuals so that the Spanish, the French, the German, the Italian, the Dutch, and all other people can get to know what exactly is the program today and who is this little smart girl and who is this doctor who's coming as a counseling psychologist. Okay, we will share that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, World Mental Health Day, 10th October 2020 is very, very important. Why? Because at present, children are having tough time. They are with the parents, 1.86 billion children. They are at home, locked away from schools, colleges, universities, polytechnics, educational institutions, whatever ecosystem is there, they all are away. Teachers are also away. And when these institutions are locked and parents are having a tough time to manage these children, to look after these children, and then at the same time, if I put in a very lighter way, this morning we had a educators program and we were talking. There was a training program for education fraternity, and different teachers from the world over when they were in that program. When we were talking, so they were telling which particular profession after coronavirus is going to get maximum jobs and maximum business. So the two areas they had come, one was psychologist, the psychiatrist, and the second part was little alarming, and that is called lawyers. Because a lot of divorce cases are on the way, misunderstanding of the people, tolerance levels have gone up. People are not in a position to tolerate each other. They are thinking different altogether. So, ladies and gentlemen, everyone's experience of mental health is different. On this particular day, on this auspicious day, on this wonderful day, and morning, afternoon, evening, wherever, whatever time zone you are in, we would request you only one thing: stay fit, stay healthy, take care of yourself. When you think positive, talk positive, walk positive, dream positive, sleep positive, eat positive, the world would appear to you positive. But when you think negative, everything around you, it would appear. And I always recollect one of my very close friends from United States, Mr. Tim Grover. Mr. Tim Grover is a coach for Michael Jordan. And he says throughout the life, people spend 99% time in the gym on their body. If they spend even
ये
10%
वेबिनार
time
तेरे
on
को
their
सुनना चाहिए
mental
तेरे
fitness,
मतलब का वेबिनार है आज का
wonders can be done. That is something very, very important.
हाउ टू एनर्जाइज
Anshul Agarwal ji, you got to mute your mic. I would request you. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, while thinking positive, let me move ahead. International Chamber for Service Industry extends you a very warm welcome. Since 1994, we are in the service and we are in the confluence and collaboration, networking, everything of the non-resident Indians world over. There are approximately 30 million non-resident Indians today. And these people are wonderful. They are doing a lot in their own way, whatsoever they can do to the humanity. But during this particular pandemic, we have requested them. One is the health sector, second is the education sector. These two sectors are having lots of challenges. So we have taken the responsibility because we don't hold the expertise in the medical sector. We come from more from the education background. So we are there to empower the entire education ecosystem, whatsoever best we can do. We understand. So this particular program on Saturdays, 6:15 p.m. to 7 p.m., we bring with Namo Gange. Those are in health and wellness, nature and environment, Kala and Sanskriti, and women empowerment. Now we understand during lockdown the thought processes are affected, business is affected, physical and mental health is affected, and main part of the universe is education is deeply affected. But India always believes in Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam. The whole world is one family. Your difficulties are our difficulties. Your pain is our pain. Your pleasure is our pleasure. अगर आप ठीक हैं तो विश्व ठीक है. That is the way India thinks. And heartiest congratulations to the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, and to Dr. Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank, the Education Minister, and the entire fraternity of the education ecosystem, which is their school education, higher education, technical education, vocational education, skills, competencies, whatever we can talk about. So, while giving, because education on 29th of July got the new daylight, and imagine after 1986, this is the education policy which has come after 34 years, and once it gets implemented, it will have a phenomenal change in the entire ecosystem of the humanity. Now, during this pandemic, we also realized a lot of research which we are gathering from world over that water conservation is very important for all of us. Water scarcity is going to be the next challenge world over. People will not have more and a sufficient drinking water. We got to think about it. So, ladies and gentlemen, women empowerment is also very important. That's why our chamber is working in that direction. And under women empowerment, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, every day, we get 5 girls under women empowerment globally from the different countries, from the different continents. And 5 of them each day, they share their vision. So 20 girls every week, they come. So when they discuss with us, they give their chronology, analogy, their thought process, their creativity, what exactly is the purpose of education, what should be done in education, how to empower education system, and we got to understand what does today's youth want. That is something very important in education system. Our chamber from morning 9 o'clock till evening 9 o'clock, 12 hours. We are in the service globally. We are going world over. Right now, also this particular program has got a beaming and people joining us from Canada, United States, Latin America, Europe, Central Asia, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, South Asia, Afghanistan, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, Maldives, Nepal, and going to ASEAN all the way, Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines, Brunei. And then besides that, you have got the people joining this program all the way from South Korea because they want to understand what is India's herbal-based therapies and what exactly India has got to offer. We have got people from Taiwan, we have got people from Japan, they are coming from the different cities, and then people are also joining us. A lot of people from our prestigious state, Bihar, have gone to Mauritius. So people are joining us from Port Louis, they are joining from Seychelles, and people are joining from the African continent, also different countries. And then, of course, सबको सादर प्रणाम, नमस्कार. भारत में भी जितने लोग हमारे को इस प्रोग्राम में ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं, आप सबका भारत से स्वागत है, आपका भव्य स्वागत है, हार्दिक मन से स्वागत है. तो आप लोग भी आज की शाम हमारे साथ हैं, हम आपके बहुत आभारी हैं. Tomorrow is Sunday morning because we are making education relevant. That means everything is being discussed over here, how to empower humanity, how to empower youth, how to empower educators. So every Sunday morning, 9:30, we have got Professor Satendra Dhiman from the Woodbury University, Burbank, California, from the United States, and he talks to us on what is the relevance of Srimad Bhagavad Gita and India's principal Upanishad. What do they have got the relevance in today's education system globally? And thereafter, ladies and gentlemen, here is the whole canvas you can see. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You have got Yes program, youth empowerment strategies, where you get the keynote speakers and you get 5 girls from the world over every day. And then Friday, Lord Buddha's teachings and education relevance. Saturday, we just finished 3 minutes back a program on Swami Vivekanand. And now you have got health and wellness. And then Sunday morning, I told you Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Then Sunday evening, 3 to 4 p.m., India ASEAN series. And then Sunday evening, the last program, education का purpose क्या है, education क्यों, school education, higher education किस लिए. So micro, small and medium enterprise, if you want to be startup, you want to start any kind of your own business, then we come over there on Sunday evening, your startups, your stand-ups, your make in India, your assemble in India, whatsoever you want to talk about, all the new pedagogies. This is the research from the 150 countries during the lockdown. The Golden Triangle is not going to be dedicated to Shah Jahan's Taj Mahal now, Delhi, Agra, Jaipur. The Golden Triangle is going to be सबसे पहले अपने भोजन की व्यवस्था कीजिए. नंबर 2 अपनी हेल्थ का ख्याल रखिए. और नंबर 3 पढ़ाई वो कीजिए जिसके साथ अर्न एंड लर्न पार्ट टाइम जॉब भी कीजिए. माँ बाप ने बहुत मेहनत कर ली, बेचारों ने बहुत एफर्ट्स कर लिए. और B2B, which was business to business, now will be back to basics of life. And then you have got sustainable development of the world, which we have to take into consideration. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the last slide. It is not our quote, it's a Napoleon Hill's quote. And what he says, whatsoever human mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. You've got to conceive the idea, you've got to believe in your idea. You can achieve anything on this planet, but you've got to take on the first step. So let's make education relevant. Let's make every child, education, school, college, institution relevant. So it's a global confluence of educators, motivators, technocrats, counselors, wellness experts, corporate, government administrators, and decision makers. International Chamber for Service Industry website is listed over here. Should you wish to be a panelist or send suggestion, innovation@ICSI.Asia, and then you have got both. This particular video is going live on the YouTube as well. If you open ICSI, International Chamber for Service Industry, or you come on Dr. Gulshan Sharma's page, and you will be able to see this video. No cut. It is all live. Whatever you say, it goes to the whole world and it goes live. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are privileged this evening to have Dr. Parnika. Dr. Parnika is the co-founder, Prodigy people from the world over. Dr. Parnika, counseling, psychologist, and a life skill trainer. She has almost 15 years of experience in teaching, training, and counseling. That includes working as assistant professor with Amity University, Noida. Okay, my friend, Professor Dr. Chauhan and his son now. Okay, and earlier, a lot of lieutenant generals from Indian Army. And IILM, Institute for Higher Learning. Great. So that is also, we have got Dr. Shori there, Lodi Road. Yeah. Conducted 200 plus training on life skills for various organizations like ONGC. Wow. ONGC, CSR activity, Dr. Mahapatra, the director. Great. And then the lady over there in ONGC. Okay. Election Commission of India. Yes. Sunil Arora ji. State Bank of India, great, wonderful. Allahabad Bank, Delhi Police, great. CRPF, and many more. She has counseled more than 200 college students, have done research on purpose in life and happiness, and developed a module on purposeful work. Purposeful work. Okay, that's great. That's lovely. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me extend a very hearty welcome to this lady this evening. And like media entertainment industry, they always say, put your hands together. And ladies and gentlemen, here comes the celebrity of the evening on this day, Dr. Parnika. So there we go on, ma'am.
Thank you so much for a lovely introduction. So rightly so, today is a very special day. Today is a day with that is World Mental Health Day. And this year, the World Mental Health Day becomes very significant, as Sir has already shared that this year we are experiencing health emergency that is once we have ever experienced in our life. And this health emergency has not only impacted our health, it has impacted our life, each aspect of our lives, be it our work, education, and our mental health as well, because we really don't know that when this situation will get over, when we will get back to our lives the way we used to live. And in a blink our life seems to have changed, and because in a blink our lives have changed, it's very difficult for us to cope with this new reality, and we are still coping it up. And right now we are also dealing with economic emergencies. Many people have lost their jobs, businesses have shut down. So because of financial trouble, and the change in educational system, the whole education system is on online mode, and the teachers, the parents, and the students are finding it difficult to make education interesting and and interesting, so as well as uh, worthwhile. The stress is piling up. So we are experiencing episodes of anxiety at times, we are in stress, there is episodes of depression as well. We all feel that at times we are all positive, but then we all dip in. So we will talk about that, how to come out of it. So the topic which was given to me by Sir was like really interesting, that is goodbye to stress, anxiety, and depression. So rightly so, we are here to say goodbye to stress, anxiety, and depression. So let me share my slides with all of you. So very quickly, what is stress, anxiety, and depression? So what we mean by it? So what I feel that whenever we are in stress, anxiety, or depression, there is one feeling that we all have, that is a loss of control. We all feel that we are losing control of our lives. We feel sometimes helpless, or we feel कि अब क्या होगा, what if, right? अब क्या होगा, पता नहीं क्या होगा, which we say, there is a worry happening inside our brain. So at very nutshell, we feel that we are losing control of our lives, and especially during these days of pandemic, we all feeling loss of control. We really don't know when our economic situation will be all right. We really don't know when our children will go back to their schools without getting worried about their health. So there is a feeling of loss of control. We all, because of loss of control, there is a cycle of negative thinking. So we all know that our behavior is controlled by our thought process. हमारी सोच, हमारी सिचुएशन, सब कुछ हमारे थॉट्स के ऊपर होता है निर्भर. So our thoughts control our feelings, and our feelings there affects our behavior, and the kind of a behavior we do, it has the consequences of over our situations. So we all have to understand that what kind of a thought process we have. Is it helpful thoughts, or they are unhelpful thoughts? Now helpful thoughts are those thoughts which makes our lives happy, and unhelpful thoughts are those which gives us stress. So sometimes we start worrying about future, कि क्या होगा, what will happen, our businesses are not in shape, so after a while, if I will be able to earn that kind of a money that can help me sustain my business or not, or help me sustain my life or not, so what if, more so we keep on worrying, or we lose confidence about ourselves. If we have lost a job, we feel, okay, am I able to get a new job? या मेरे में तो कोई कमी नहीं थी कि मैं ही job से निकल गया. Or we sometimes get nervous because of there is so much of stress happening. So sometimes we feel nervous, or our bad comments by somebody haunt us. So when all these things are happening to us, we feel that we are losing control of our reality, or we are losing control in our lives. Let me quickly help you go through that how anxiety affects our brain, or what is our structure of our brain, and what happens when we get stressed out, or what happens that when we get anxious. So this is our structure of our brain. This is the prefrontal cortex, and at the back it's our limbic system, which consists of amygdala, hippocampus. So what I want to share here is that we have a primitive brain, which is also known as our limbic system, which is at the back. And then we have this brain, which makes us human, which is prefrontal cortex. Now, this prefrontal cortex is the brain which help us decide, which help us take decisions in life, which is our rational mind. And our limbic system is a brain which is our Asian brain, which help us deal with danger. So whenever there is a danger, our primitive mind activated, right? And we, because this is the most primitive mind, which is based on how survival, that how to survive. Its basic instinct is survival. So so this survival mode gets activated, and when there is a question of survival, either it is fight or flight response. Either we want to run away from the threat, or we want to fight with the threat. So when this limbic system get activated, because of the perception of threat, we get into the stress, or we get into anxiety. And if that anxiety continued for a period of time, we get the feeling of helplessness and hopelessness. When this feeling of worry continued for a long time, we get into depression. So that is the reason there is a connection. Yeah. So it is therefore important that we understand that the stress, anxiety is the result of our Asian brain, which help us survive. And our rational mind help us grow. And the point is that today in this world, of course, there are threats, but there are no real threats in which we really need to fight or run away or need to fight. So the cortisol in our body is keep on releasing. Cortisol is the hormone which is also known as the stress hormone, which releases each time we have stress, each time we have this perception of threat. So this cortisol releases in our body, and when we don't release this cortisol, either through physical exercise, or we don't calm ourselves through meditation, or through any mindfulness activity, this cortisol keep activating in our body, and that leads to hypertension, diabetes, and many other mental illnesses and physical illnesses like cancer, osteoporosis. And in fact, this says that all kind of physical illnesses is related to stress. So that's the reason it's very important to focus on our mental health, because this is the mind which controls our entire body. And if it is healthy, we are healthy. We can be much more focused and attentive. Now here the question is that whenever we get stressed out, our thinking is that there is a threat. So now we have to really help our prefrontal cortex to get activated. That means that, when we are in stress, our primitive mind is activated. We are in a survival mode. And sometimes then our survival mode takes over our rational mind. And that is the reason sometimes in stress, we get really angry, and we end up doing certain things which we feel we should not have done it. We say कि हम पे पता नहीं क्या परेशानी थी और हमें समझ नहीं आया, हमने ऐसा क्यों कर दिया या ऐसा क्यों कह दिया, क्योंकि उस वक्त हमारा रैशनल माइंड हमारे कंट्रोल में नहीं होता है. So that is the reason it is really important that we take a deep breath take control of our rational mind, which is our prefrontal cortex, which help us to decide, which help us to be attentive, which help us to do problem solving. So we really need to activate our prefrontal cortex. Now this is what happens. This is the responses of or when we are when we are in a state of anxiety or high level of stress. Physiologically, there is increased heart rate, there is a muscle tension, there is sweating, dizziness, nausea, there is a stomach problem, and in our thoughts, there is a constant worry. What if kya hoga? And this constant worry we could not get over with. And because of this constant worry, we feel fearful, we feel panicked, we feel angry, sometimes we get disappointed or sad. And it has its effect on our behavior. We start avoiding certain situations, or it start impacting our work. Start impacting our productivity. And so it's like a vicious cycle. So when we are not working in our optimum capacity, it start affecting our thought process again, that I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough. It makes us feel more vulnerable, and then it induces more anxiety and more physiological response. And that is the reason we get stuck in that vicious cycle, and it becomes bigger and bigger and tighter, and we feel suffocated, as if we are in a jail. We feel helpless and hopeless. And when we could not able to break this cycle, it has a very bad effect on our mental health as well as on our physical health. So it's very important to prioritize emotional fitness in our daily schedule, in our daily life, so that we can break this vicious cycle. Now I really want to talk about that how can we say goodbye to this anxiety, stress, and depression? Because as I have already shared, that this anxiety, stress, and depression is our survival mode. But we as human race have learned to grow. We as human race have learned to deal with our problems. And that is the reason human race is the most developed race in the entire arena, right? So since we are humans, we have to grow. And that means that we have to say goodbye to stress, anxiety, and depression. We have to take a vow today that we will not be anxious, we will not be stressed, and we will not be depressed. Because now we will take the control of our lives back in our hands. And through various researches, it has been found that it is not about the situations, it is about the coping mechanisms. So there is one of research talks about that people who are poor are more in stress. But then, there were certain researches which studied that what are those coping mechanisms, that even if the person is poor, the person is not stressed out, the person is not depressed, the person is not anxious. So those are the coping mechanisms that help us grow. So now I really want to talk about those coping mechanisms that help us grow in life. And the first one is that take control of your life. There is a philosopher, G.K. Chesterton. He's an English writer and philosopher. And he said that anything worth doing is worth doing badly in the first time. So, what does it mean? It means that if you really want to
Come from this.
that if you really want to do something, if you really want to do, this is what I want to, I want to start a new work, I want to start, our honorable Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, she is telling us to be Atmanirbhar, and that means to be creative. That means to start using our innovation techniques and start doing something which is worthwhile. So each one of us have certain skills. Take control of our lives back in our hands and just do it without worrying that how will it go by in the long, how will it go by? And when you look back and you see that, whatever you have tried has come out for better. You have learned something in your life by doing something. So, replace your anxiety with excitement. right? So don't get fearful. Okay, what if something goes wrong? No, whatever your skills have, whatever your resources have, start thinking creatively and innovatively and take the control of your life back in your own hands and start doing things even if you feel that you will fail, but still you try, because when you try you only because when you try you risk failure, but when you don't try it you assure failure. So please try, take control of your life back in your hands. The second important thing is that forgive yourself. Yeah, sometimes we all speak badly to ourselves. Our self talk, the way we talk to ourselves, we really need to be mindful that how we are talking to ourselves. I am not good enough, I am stupid, I'm so mean, how can I do this thing to myself, or how can I behave like that, or if I do something, I will look funny. So we all keep judging ourselves in our own head. We really need to stop that thing and need to forgive ourselves. We need to be kind to ourselves. We know that we sometimes know how to be kind to others, but it's very important to be kind to ourselves first. If we love ourselves, only then we can give that love to others. So please spend time with yourself and please be mindful that आप अपने आप को बोल क्या रहे हो. अगर आप अपने आप को गलत बात बोल रहे हो, अपने आप को आप imagine a friend who is keep on criticizing you. How do you feel? You don't feel good, you don't feel confident, right? But if you so imagine if you have in your own mind, if you keep criticizing yourself, how will you do anything, right? So you need to shut your criticism, you need to say shut up, and you need to be kind to yourself. You need to tell yourself that you can do it and you are worth, you're a great person. You have to be really mindful that how you speak to yourself, and please don't be angry with yourself. Don't keep things don't be guilty, and lead a very confident life. Forgive yourself. So it's very important that to forgive yourself. The third important thing is, of course, we all know that we need to indulge in healthy practices. So all these healthy practices like physical exercise, meditation, good night, sleep affects our brain, affects the health of our brain, right? Physical exercise, we need to prioritize physical exercise, because when we do physical exercise, it helps us in generating new brain cells it helps in our brain, right? Hippocampus is in the back of our brain, and it is the source of all the memory. It is a source of long-term memory. It is where our long-term memory is stored, right? So when we do physical exercise, the volume of our hippocampus increased, and it helps in our long-term memory, in our attention, and in our concentration. So when you prioritize physical exercise in your life, it will affect the functioning of your brain. And when you have a better brain, if you have a strong, attentive, focused brain, then there is nothing that you cannot achieve, right? So even if you don't, if you know, it doesn't mean that you need to join a gym or you need to do a robotic exercise, but you can actually do any kind of physical exercise, at least 3 times in a week for 30 minutes. If you can do physical exercise, it will really help. And some kind of aerobic exercise, that means that even if nothing else, if you have stairs, if you can just climb stairs, if you can just sit and get up from your chair, some kind of a physical exercise for 30 minutes. Jump, if nothing else, jumping for 200 times. So depending upon your health, do some kind of a physical exercise at least 3 times in a week for 30 minutes at least. It will help your brain to grow and become attentive. The second is the meditation. It is very important to make your mind and make your thoughts wide. So what happens that in a minute we have some 10,000 thoughts that keep rushing in our brain, right? So we each and if we we all must have realized it, that as soon as we are not doing anything and we are just sitting, our mind start wandering, and it start wander from one place to another, and we start thinking about anything, and sometimes our brain go back in our past कि कितना अच्छा था, कैसे हम आराम से रहते थे, or it start and or it goes back into the future कि क्या होगा future में. So both the things, keeping in being in past or being in future, is not very good for our mental health, because all these thoughts will not be positive, some thoughts will be negative, and that those negative thoughts gives us the signal that something is not right. And the moment our brain have this signal that something is not right, that perception of threat, there is a perception of threat, and as there is a perception of threat, there is a cortisol which keep releasing in our body, and as the cortisol is releasing in our body, it will negatively impact our body. And so it's very important to make our brain quiet, shut our thoughts. So when we focus on only one thought, be it a breathing meditation, where you focus on the breathing, or you focus on one mantra. So whenever you focus on only one thing, or on one point on a wall, so whenever you focus, you help your brain quiet. And as soon as you help your brain quiet, it helps in increasing the gray matter of your brain, and it helps in increasing your cognitive skills. Again, you are strengthening your prefrontal cortex. Yeah. Then there is a good diet is very important. Like in a premium car, it is very important to put premium fuel. Similarly, our brain is the most premium um, organ of our of our body, or ever made. So this premium machine which we have need to have premium fuel. So we really need to be very mindful that what we are putting in our brain. So if we are putting in lot of sugar, if we are putting lot of junk food, our brain will not work properly. In fact, our brain starts shrinking. But if we give our food nutritious food, if we give our food, if we give our brain food which is rich in omega-3, lot of nuts, lots of almonds, it will help our brain to grow healthy. So because omega-3 is very important to develop our brain, and our body cannot make omega-3 on its own. So we need the supplements, we need almonds, we need nuts. So it's very important that we mindful that what we are giving in and what we are eating, and we need to avoid junk food which is rich in sugar and fats and carbohydrates. Then sleep is very important, right? Because sleep is very important to remove toxins from our brain. So for an adult, it's said that 7 to 9 hours of sleep is important. So if you are an adult, you please prioritize 7 to 9 hours of sleep. And as you grow older, of course, your sleep reduces, but it's very important that you at least prioritize 7 hours of good sleep in your daily life, if you really want your brain to remove all those toxins which degenerate our brains, right? So to be healthy, to be strong, we need to have strong brain, and so we really need to prioritize all these healthy practices. Now we really have this power of thoughts. Now the thoughts, you understand, these thoughts are very, very powerful. It has a power to make you, or it has a power to destroy you, right? So stress, anxiety, depression will destroy you. But when you understand that I have a growth mindset, this is my brain which helped me grow, and I need to use the power of my thoughts to grow in life, to come out from every situation, we need to use the power of thoughts. How to use the power of our thoughts? Now, the first thing is power of savoring. It means that you keep on replaying happy moments in your life and share it with others. And that is the reason we talk about creating moments, right? So in a day, if all of you are at home and the whole family is at home, it is a wonderful time to create happy moments in life. And that helps our brain to grow. So even if it's just a simple cup of coffee, can we make it special? Can we make it, with a, can we have a cup of tea together with some personal touch, or a daily routines? Can we have some personal touch to our daily routines so that we can create every moment worth living? The more happy moments we have, it helps our brain to grow, understand. So it's very important that we replay happy moments, and the more happy moments you have more material to replay. You have more assets, you have more happy films of your life to keep watching day out, right? So power of savoring is very important. The second is the gratitude. There are so many things to be thankful for, right? So we really need to start appreciating whatever we have, and only then we can bounce back, right? So whatever, if nothing else, if we can be just thankful for three things in our life in a day. It can be electricity. It can be as simple as electricity, food on our plate, or we can breathe. It is we really need to be really thankful if we could able to breathe. Ask a person who could not able to breathe, right? So it is very important that we keep writing down three things for which we are really thankful for. Please keep it a habit. And then stop social comparison, because we all are on online. We are in a habit that we keep on switching on to social media. We either we start checking our Facebook or Instagram, and the moment we are on a social media, their automatic response is the social comparison. So we keep comparing our lives with the lives of others, and that gives us anxiety. So please stop social comparison. Our lives are different and others' lives are different. We really don't know the stories of each other. So just focus on our own life and just focus on how to build the growth mindset. And that is what the psychologist Carl Dweck has come up with, the concept of growth mindset. And she said that either we have a fixed mindset or we have a growth mindset. So whenever we have a desire to look smart and there, that means that we have a very fixed mindset. When we really just want to look smart, and that is the reason we do things, right? And so sometimes we are on a social media and we post our happy moments just to make sure that how others, so that others view our lives, that how happy we are. But if we are doing things just to make others look that how good we are doing, that is the fixed mindset. But if we are doing certain things with the desire to learn and to grow, that is the growth mindset. If we are doing anything that makes us feel that we are having a new experience in our lives, we are building a new experience in our lives, that is a growth mindset. So that, always think about it, that am I doing? Am I fixed mindset or am I growth mindset? Now when you get a problem, if you are a person with a fixed mindset, now fixed mindset means that you feel that my intelligence, I cannot increase my intelligence, I cannot increase my resources. But a growth mindset means that I can develop, I can change, I can increase my intelligence, I can increase my skills. That is growth mindset. And so a person with a fixed mindset feels that everything is by luck, but the growth mindset person knows that everything is by hard work and consistency and persistence. So if we have a growth mindset, we will grow. So whatever be your mindset, please look at it that I need to develop a growth mindset, right? So whenever we have a challenge, I really don't need to avoid a problem. I need to deal with the problem. That is a growth mindset. Whenever I get an obstacle, I don't need to give up easily. In fact, I need to be persistent during any setback. And lastly, it's very important to have some kind of a purpose and meaning in life. So Viktor Frankl, he was an Austrian neurologist and psychiatrist. He said that those who have why to live can bear anyhow. That means that if we know that why we are living, or when we know that whatever we are doing, why we are doing. So see, there is no enjoyment, there is no happiness in doing things just for yourself. There is more happiness. We become more happy when we do things for others. When we cook and we have just need to eat by ourselves, we don't feel that kind of happiness. But if we are cooking for somebody else, and when we know that okay, now we have a family to be fed, and so I am cooking so that others will appreciate, others will feel happy while eating, it gives us another high. It gives us the motivation to go into the kitchen and cook. It doesn't give us that kind of a motivation to cook if we just have to eat by our own selves, right? So we enjoy doing things for others. So we have to really think that okay, how my work is impacting the lives of others, right? So when we have this kind of a thought process that how my work will impact the life of others for good, that gives us the motivation to rise up, right? Sometimes we feel that okay, whatever I am doing is really doesn't have an immediate effect on the lives of others, but we have to keep this in mind that okay, whatever I'm doing, how it is helping the future generation. So okay, can I so if if I stop using plastic, right, and if I can think creatively that how can I in how can I change my lifestyle that I don't have to use plastic. Maybe it doesn't have you could not see the immediate effect of this act, but you know that when you are doing it consistently, it will impact the lives of many people. It will impact the life of your future generation. So when you could able to think that what you can do that can impact the lives of others and have a why of living, or have a strong why of doing your daily things, you will develop a growth mindset. So here there is a question that I want each one of you to really think, that can you do something keeping another person in mind? And lastly, this is a great quote, and this quote is by the famous psychologist. He said that the best moment in our lives are not the passive, receptive, relaxing times. The best moment usually occur when a person's body or mind is stretched to its limits in a voluntary effort to accomplish something difficult and worthwhile. So if we really want to say goodbye to stress, anxiety, and depression, we have to start using our growth mindset. And we really need to say goodbye to depression, anxiety, and stress. And we need to grow. So with this, I'm done with my small talk on saying goodbye to stress, anxiety, and depression. So if there are any
Wonderful.
questions.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Saab. Thank you. It's so inspiring. It's so motivating. And you covered all the technical parts also in a very simplest way. That's something is good. Now, I've got two, three takes which I would like to know from you. How do you find the music affects the mind?
So
Yeah.
music has an immediate effect on our emotions.
Okay.
So if you are feeling, so you must have seen that when we exercise, whenever there is in a gym, there is always a very peppy music. It helps us to energize. So
Okay.
and when we want to relax, we put a very relaxing music. So
Uh-huh.
similarly, the food, the smells. So each of the sense organ, because the music affects the sense organ of our hearing. So if we use our sense organs, when we have an experience revolving around our seven senses, if it affects our mental health as well. So there is a very famous restaurant in London, which is getting the best restaurant award of every year from past so many years. And the speciality is that whenever they serve a dish, they serve a dish involving all the five senses, right? So there is a particular ambience related to each dish. So there is a particular smell, there is a particular music, so that you relish the food better. So yeah, so music is also affecting one of our senses, so it has an impact over our mood.
Okay, on mood. Second part, ma'am. Now, during this particular pandemic, earlier we were telling children don't use gadgets, don't use too much of technology. And now we are telling everybody, okay, 2 घंटे तो लगा लो, कुछ तो पढ़ लो, तुम्हारे टीचर पढ़ा रहे हैं, कुछ तो जान लो. So that is the way we are hearing from from parents from different locations. Now, what do you feel is the role of gamification in education?
Giving,
Gamification, games,
gaming,
various games which are available. You give to a small child a mobile phone, he won't disturb you. He would be busy with that only. And he will or she will forego her dinner, meals, or whatever is there. So, of course, our chamber has taken up now very seriously, and we have written to about 150 plus companies that can you be kind enough to build positive games, constructive games, dynamic games, innovative games, creative games, so that the children mind can be diverted towards a positive sense. And
absolutely.
there's something very interesting I would like to share. Once I was traveling in India from place Chandigarh to Jalandhar by bus. So I thought that let me not travel by car, let me travel by public transport, and let me see it, let me enjoy, because sometimes it is very interesting to understand what exactly is happening in day-to-day life.
Yeah.
So the lady sitting next to me, she had a small child, and the child was crying, and she was trying to tell him, "Don't worry, the next place is coming. I'm going to give you your drink and all that." So all the times I was thinking, like a good mother, she must be thinking that she will give in a bottle the milk to the child, and child will be happy. So the psychological treatment was there, and the nipple was put in the mouth for the small child baby,
Mm.
and the baby was all the time looking towards mother and doing something like this, that okay. And she was telling, I will tell uncle, he will go and he'll fetch your drink, he will get you everything. So in my mind, all as a oldie going on, that we will take a milk and we'll give it to the child. So when there is a place halfway, about 75 kilometers away, place Balachor, that came. So she told me कि अंकल आप एक थोड़ा सा मदद करेंगे. हाँ, मैंने कहा बोलो बेटा क्या करना है. बोला अंकल आप ये बॉटल ले जाओ, इसमें पेप्सी डलवा के लेके आ जाओ. So instead of milk or instead of some
Yeah.
healthy drink or something, I brought Pepsi, and I'm shocked. I'm shocked. Within
Mm.
5 minutes, the child finished the Pepsi and child slept.
Mm.
So just now you were telling the junk food and all that and everything. It was so important and so interesting to understand. Today, the whole society has come to a stage where the junk food, the fast food, non-desirable food, pesticide-based food, and I do not know what exactly which way and how to make the children realize. Because if you talk to them that way, they'll say, Dr. Parnika is mad, and this old man who is talking, he is also mad. And the person who is bringing this program together, Dr. Anshul, he is also mad. So people will talk that way. So thereby, I just wish to understand, when you refrain somebody, when you tell somebody, you tell a small child, don't do it, the child will do it.
Absolutely.
But if you tell a child, come on, do it, child will say, no, I will not do it. So similar way, what is to be done with the teenagers? Those are getting into a different music, a different kind of a zone, and different kind of arena, and different kind of food habits. And particularly all these fast food companies, they are making chips and they are making kurkures and they are making, they are putting some spices in that till the time you don't finish that, you want to finally see, I hope no piece is left over in the container or in the box or in the packet. So what is to be done?
So,
What is to be done?
so I think that one thing that you are doing here is awareness. Awareness is the first step. we really need to share this awareness that what is good and what is bad, and especially for the person, we really give that choice to the person that you really, and if it's a teenager, these days teenagers are smart enough to understand that what is it good and what is it bad, provided we give them that kind of a confidence that they can make a right choice. So if we can give them that kind of an awareness and give and information that what is the choices available, what is the good choice, what is the bad choice. If we really want to grow in life, we really need to understand that how our brain develops. So if we have to put a premium fuel in our brain so that we can grow and we can achieve our dreams, so then we have to make them understand that this is the significance of saying these things, and that is the reason we are saying that no to junk food or no to certain kind of a video games. And I'm really thankful that the PUBG has been banned in India, because otherwise it was such a nuisance. I mean, me as a psychologist and as an academician also have to deal with so many issues in which the students and in which the youngsters were like really addicted to this PUBG. And even in the class they were on the PUBG, and they were like that, please give us 1 minute, ma'am, 1 minute. I mean, I'm just finishing. So I'm really glad that this PUBG is banned, and it really helped us, with a lot of, so that we don't need to under deal with this problem. But yeah, as video games where it help us to enhance our cognitive skills, but we really need to be understandable that what kind of a video game. Certain video games like PUBG are made to are developed are to be addictive, and that is the reason they were so addictive that the person, it is not the blame of the child who was playing it, but it is the programming of that video game that make the student, the child addictive. So it's very important that we have that information that what is the right product, what is the wrong product, because we eventually need to grow in life. We really need to be developed in our lives, and I think that each one of us want to grow. It is the
Okay.
human nature to grow.
Dr.
Yeah.
Sab, at present, as far as the pandemic or the coronavirus is concerned, nobody is sure. Nobody is sure when will it go away, how
Yeah.
it will go away, how fast it will go away, whether there will be a second phase or something else is on the way. Nobody knows today about it. So,
Absolutely.
as a psychologist, what would you like to tell education fraternity, the children now, slowly and gradually, when they will come out and when they will move out? The festive season is also coming now. The
Absolutely.
Deepavali is coming, the Shahra is coming, couple of other things are there. Government is also reopening the economy and all. So what would you like to tell the education fraternity, education ecosystem, or to parents or to children? How do we go by? What exactly should we do? Because there will be a lot of psychological apprehensions, there will be a lot of psychological barriers, and people would have developed. Now I mean to say, even if somebody would say, okay, Dr. Parnika is like your child, so bless her. So if I touch also even Dr. Parnika's head to give blessings, she will be very worried. It shouldn't happen that he is carrying some virus. Similar way, children, when they will come to schools and everything over there, how do you want this psychological fear to go away? Will it go in a natural way? Will it go in a long way? Or what exactly should be done? Should we conduct some classes or some awareness programs or other things frequently from time to time? Because today nobody is sure. Everybody is making their own stories, and everybody is making their own kind of auras, and everybody. So yes, good. Everybody knows that the business is affected and people want the business to reopen again. I'm saying it was very sad to note when the liquor shops were opened up. At that point in time, the rush which was seen outside, I was feeling very sorry at that point of time. Look at
True.
those long queues and all that. So I
True.
mean to say, to drink a poison, you have such a long queue in the morning at 5 o'clock.
True.
So what I'm telling is, what should be done? What is your take before we close today's program?
True.
That what teachers should do, what parents should do, and what children should do psychologically, because particularly to overcome this psychological phobia or reality or prevailing condition, what exactly is the take? And then we close the session.
True. So, as you have rightly said, that we all cannot predict the course that it will take. When will it when it will be over? How will it? And we really can't predict, because it affects every person differently. So, and it
Yes,
really doesn't matter, So we really, since the situation we cannot predict, it's very important that we accept the situation and we don't fight with it. We really need to, definitely we need to embrace change. We cannot go back to the days where the way we used to live, and we can't think, okay, now everything is, this is also one extreme of thinking, that okay, now everything is over, everything is fine, so let's start living the way we were living before, and let's start living it. That is also a very stupid thought process. At the same time, if we just become really worried and become really paranoid about each and every situation, that is another extreme. So the middle path is the best path. We really need to accept the situation, that yes, the situation is like this. We have to live in this new world with a new reality, with new norms, and we have to accept these norms. So I think that that means that more training required for the children, that when they will go back to school, how they will behave. So lots of trainings need to be implemented. And I think the more awareness programs, more stricter rules. For example, when we have those strict rules, people obey these rules. When we have those strong strict traffic rules, similarly we need to have these strict new norms, like putting the having the social, there is a social, there need to be maintained social distancing, there has to be the mask, there has to be constant sanitization of your hands and your, so if all these safety standards are in place, we can live safely in this new world. And every change means growth. So I'm sure that this change also means new opportunities. This change also means growth. This is a wonderful time which we will always remember in our lives. So I think that this time has helped us understand the importance of real things in life. We really, and I mean, I'm speaking to people, and people are telling me and talking to me, and they all have said that how they have reduced their consumptions, and they are very happy doing that. And they, so it is the time to really look back and see that what is really what is it that is worthwhile, and we really need to don't keep running a mad race. So just
thank
accept
you.
and be in the middle ground. So thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that is Dr. Parnika. Today, on a very special day, thank you very much, Dr. Saab. It was a pleasure. It was a treat to have you with us. And on behalf of Namo Gange and on behalf of our chamber, International Chamber for Service Industry, we convey our deep gratitude and thanks to you. And keep serving the humanity, keep guiding the humanity, help the people the best possible way, particularly the future of India and the future of the world, because India is having youngest population of the world. So all of us stay fit, stay healthy, and that's the take, ladies and gentlemen,